Welcome to Creative Cooking. Today we're making roasted potato salad. It's actually 3 recipes in one. So we'll get started with these potatoes. They are baby whites. You can also use the baby reds. You can even get them in purple. I've seen them purple too. And you want to cut them in half, and there's a good reason for doing that. It has something to do with the way they're going to absorb the seasonings and the oil, which happens to be extra virgin olive oil, and a good amount of it too. I'm not giving you any measurements right now. I prefer to do it this way, just eyeball it all. We're going to put in a good amount of kosher salt, and we're going to add some other stuff like black pepper, freshly ground. Just going to put it in the pan there, okay? As peppery as you want, folks. I'm also adding some onion powder, and I'm going to add some garlic powder. 2 of my favorite dried spices are those 2 powders. They come in real handy in the kitchen. And I've got some dried rosemary. Rosemary is a very, smells so good kind of herb. I like to crush it in my hand before I sprinkle it on so that we don't have any really large pieces. But if you have some fresh rosemary, by all means, put whole sprigs in there if you want to. Adds a lot of nice flavor and aroma. And touch up with a little more oil if you think it needs it. Now, the way I like to do my potato roasting when I do it this way is I like to cover it with aluminum foil. Okay, I've got a preheated oven at 350. I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil, and the main reason for doing this is that during the first half of the cooking time, I want to keep the moisture in the pan. So I think this helps them to cook before they dry out. It's kind of important, so about 20 minutes in the oven. That'll get them nice and hot. Meanwhile, I'm cutting up some green beans. I was thinking about using asparagus, but I didn't have any. I did have green beans, though. So now that this has been in the oven for about 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add the green beans, all right? Because they won't take that long to cook. So by the time those potatoes are done, the green beans will be done. So everything is roasted. You're going to return that to the oven for another 20 to 30 minutes uncovered. That's going to allow them to get crispy. You might want to take them out, give them a stir once in the middle of cooking so that they get evenly browned, okay? Now, if you were to stop right here, you would have a delicious side dish to go with roast pork or chicken or turkey or basically anything. I just eat them by themselves. They're that good. But I'm going to put them in a slightly smaller container because we're going to make a salad. And for that, we're not going to use mayonnaise. We're going to mix up a quick vinaigrette with olive oil, some red wine vinegar, not too much. The ratio is like 3-to-1, 4-to-1, depending on your preference. And just a little bit of Dijon mustard, which is, your basic vinaigrette. And we'll whisk that up real quick so it emulsifies a little bit. And we'll set that aside while we prep everything else. I have some fresh flat leaf Italian parsley. We're going to throw that in for some color and, a little bit of flavor. Never hurts to put some green stuff in there. You can add onions. I'm using green onion. I'm going to use both the green and the white parts of the green onion. And we're going to chop that up in little pieces. And we'll add that in too. Now, I can tell you that, just stop right there. You have to mix it up, of course. You're going to have to mix it up with the dressing. But I like to give it a pre-mix just to see, do I have enough of this and enough of that? And I think I do. So I'll go ahead, put in the dressing. Okay, and again, that's very light. And I didn't make a lot. And the reason I didn't is because there was already a lot of oil on the potatoes. So we're just touching them up. We're adding a little bit of tartness with that vinegar. You could also use lemon juice or lime, but I prefer vinegar for this. And that's it. At least for step 2, you can serve this just the way it is. But of course, we want to go one step further, and we're going to do what's basically loaded baked potato salad. All right, so I got 3 strips of bacon here that have been cooked. I'm going to cut that up into little pieces so we can sprinkle them over the top. And I also have some sour cream, which I've thinned out with some light cream to make it a little more pourable so it's not as thick. All right, I'd even thought about putting that in a squeeze bottle or something like that, but I didn't feel like cleaning one, so I did it this way, and I'm using the whisk to just throw little dollops on top. Now, some people would ask, well, can I mix it all together? Well, I don't see why not, but I wanted to present it this way. It's all about the presentation right now. So I'm going to sprinkle on some cheddar cheese, which is typical of a loaded baked potato, and I'm going to finish that off with the cooked bacon. Isn't that looking really good right about now? It sure is. And yeah, and we had a little bit of green onion left over. Gonna go ahead and sprinkle that over the top too. So I gotta tell you, this came out terrific, and I hope you give it a try. And I hope you come back each week for more great videos made for people who like to cook. Until then, ciao.